Hi, I am Rachel, and this is my Who Am I presentation for intercultural communications. The question about who am I eventually comes to everyone's mind at some point in their life. Some may be earlier, some may be later. you know, and during these last 7 weeks of this class, the question for myself of who am I has really started to come to light, and I have found some answers that I actually didn't know I was looking for. So, for my own personal identities that I find that I relate to are, well, there's many sides to me. But first and foremost, I'm a mother of three. And one of my children has disabilities. So I'm a mother to a child with special needs. And that is, that gives me my own cultural points of view and ethics in and of itself. I'm also a wife and a daughter who I'm very close to. My family is very tight knit, and although I do not have a professional identity at this point in time in my life, I did years ago. I am a student, obviously, and that is another culture totally outside, another identity totally outside of the other two. Even though being a mother sounds like it is kind of the same thing as family, I don't agree. I think that I find my cultural views and my cultural lifestyle, my ethics and all of that tend to fall very independent as far as the way I parent, especially my one daughter. I try to do my own thing. I don't tend to listen to or try to impress anyone with my parenting skills. I think that being a parent is definitely an independent thing, although it does take a village to raise a child. I very much agree with that, you have to have your own views and you have to be very set in your own way. And I mean, while you can be open-minded, being interdependent for being a parent is not something that I think is going to get you very far. So with that, I think that I tend to have a very formal and symmetrical view of my parenting skills as a mother. I'm very sorry, I lost my my spot in my paperwork. Anyway, I prefer to respect people's positions, but I still tend to follow my own. I think that there are some boundaries that you can cross, and that I do. At times, my mother raised me very different than I raised my own children. However, I think that I'm very set in my ways, but I do take some advice from her when I'm lost. I don't know everything, and I don't pretend to know everything. As a daughter, I try to be very interdependent. I try to, when it comes to my family and even my spouse, I'm very interdependent. I want to please them. I want to fit into their group. I want to fit into their molds and their ways. We are very close, and while I do still hold some of my independent values, as a person, as a group, we are very interdependent with each other. We all rely on each other. We all kind of, fall into each other's cultural, or not really cultural, we all kind of fall into each other's interactions. That's the word I was looking for. And as a student, though, I'm very interdependent. I want to please my professors. I want to, I'm very, I guess, horizontal. And as the book states, individuals who endorse horizontal, self-constructual, prefer informal, symmetrical. Oh, I guess that's not me. Sorry. I'm very vertical. Vertical, self-constructual, prefer formal, asymmetrical interactions, differential treatment with due respect to people's positions, titles, life experiences, and age. So I do think that as a student, I find to be very vertical and very interdependent. My cultural views, my values are that you respect your elders, that, I'm the lemming, and my professors are here to teach me. I'm not here to challenge them. I'm here to learn from them. So it's kind of interesting to see where I've very much learned that my first identity as a mother has very independent, very horizontal, very it's my way and I will do what I want type of cultural view. Being my family identity, we're all very close, but while we do have some independent, we have some interdependent, some horizontal, some vertical. And then as a student, I'm very vertical and very interdependent. I find that all of these different views and different parts of me are very much crossing different lines of boundaries. I'm a very open person. I am who I am, and I think that we learn as we go. Part of me and part of who I am is we're going to go to the mass media and to technology and the internet. And part of who I am is because of the internet with parenting. I'm very, as a mother, cautious with my children about what they are watching on TV or the types of video games they're playing. I don't allow my kids to play the shoot 'em up, beat 'em up, kill 'em up, blow 'em up video games. They're still young. I do follow those guidelines, and while I know a lot of my children's friends are allowed to play them, I'm very firm with that. I think that my children learn a lot from the internet, more than I would prefer them to, which is why I choose to be very guarded. I think technology is an amazing tool, especially the internet, but it is also going to be one of our biggest downfalls. I find for my daughter as a mother also that the internet has been a very useful tool for me to learn from. Medical, I communicate with her doctors almost daily via email. I can order prescriptions. I can talk to her insurance company. I can do so much as a parent medically on the internet and with technology, and I think about the field I'm going into is nursing and how much we rely on the medical technology in the medical field, and I think that's a huge bonus for us is the advancements in the medical field that we have for technology. Excuse me. And then, also I think that technology gives us a lot as far as communications between each other. It allows us to it allows me to talk to my parents and my spouse when he is working. So I think that's very important. I also think that nonverbal communication is another huge part of my life. We do a lot of sign language. My daughter was nonverbal for the first part of her life, and so we still sign, even as with my family, we still sign to each other, and sometimes when we don't want the other person in the room to know, we'll communicate nonverbally. But anyway, I feel like this class has really opened my eyes up to how much this world has to offer and how different we all are, and yet we are all still human. And I think that's a very important lesson that I will take with me as I go on through my career as a nurse and into the medical field. So I'd like to take the time to thank everybody in this class, and I thoroughly enjoyed learning this quarter from all of you, including our professor.